Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Fuel for the Soul with John Giftah podcast. All through this week, we are looking at various lessons that we can take away from the life of Moses, especially surrounding Exodus chapter 2. See, one of the things I wanted to understand, in line with what I shared yesterday, is the fact that sometimes we don't even realize the kind of dangers that God is protecting us from. One of the things we look at is how Moses was just going through this Nile River. We just read this story like as if it's like a fairy tale story. Oh, he was just put in a basket and he was going through Nile River. But we don't realize how I shared yesterday that the Nile River had one of the most aggressive crocodiles, which actually not only looked at humans as a threat, they looked at humans as a source of food. So Moses was in dangerous territory and he didn't even know about it, and God was protecting him. And today you may be in a place in your life where you're saying, John, I'm in a very dangerous territory where my life has just gone beyond my control. I'm not even able to control it. I want you to understand, your life may feel like it's beyond your control. You may feel like how Moses, Moses didn't even know this, but imagine you in the place of Moses. Maybe you feel like, John, I'm in dangerous territory and I can do nothing about it. Even if Moses knew that he was in dangerous territory, there's nothing he could do about it. You may be in a place in your life where you feel like, oh my gosh, if I could do a miracle on myself, or if I could change my circumstance, if I could just get myself hired in a job, if I could just get myself married, if I could just get myself do this or do that, if I could just do the miracle on myself or something, this instance, understand this, right? Then I would do it because I understand that this is a big problem. This is a big, terrible place to be in life. But I want you to understand something very important here, because in the midst of knowing that nothing is in your control, I want you to trust the God who is still in control of your life. God is in control of your life. Even when you don't feel like it, even when you are not able to control anything, I want you to understand God is in control of your life. See, I want you to understand this incident, right? Like I'm also an aerospace engineer, in case you don't know. So part of the thing that we would do is there was an in-plant training where we would go on a two-seater aircraft, and there's one of those maneuvers that we do. I think it is also known as stall in one case. But here's the thing, the maneuver is basically the two-seater aircraft is flying at an altitude, and the pilot switches off the engine, and then after a few seconds switches the engine on again. Okay, so the plane in the few seconds just goes down, boom. And there are moments or instances where while the pilots are getting trained, the engine will not start immediately. So it'll be a few minutes of full tension, like, oh my gosh, what's happening? What's happening? Come on, start, start, start. Because if you don't start, you're gonna crash land, right? So it's a very dangerous place to be. And I realized like how it's not in your hands. Like if you look at an amusement park, you go down, even though it's dangerous, but still you know that there are ropes in place, there are all of these suspenders, there are all of the things that are connecting the things, so that you have all those safety things in place, safety measures taken by the amusement park. But when you're flying up in the sky, you can't do all of that. There are no ropes. if you if the engine doesn't restart, you're just going to go straight to heaven because you're going to crash land. So it's a dangerous place to be. But I want you to understand, that's how your life may feel sometimes. It's gone beyond your control. You can't control it. The more you try to control, you're only going to freak out. You are like, oh my gosh, you know what, I need to do this, do that, so that I won't lose my job. I still remember in one of the organizations, where there were a lot of people getting laid off. After which, the people who were in the organization, they were like, you know what, I'm going to work so hard. I know it's toxic. I know it is scary, but I'm going to work so hard so that I won't be laid off. They worked so hard. They forget working with the spirit of excellence. They went overboard working, trying to prove themselves. They went to a place where, in the midst of toxicity, they were like, you know what, I just put up with anything so that I will be able to keep the job. But guess what? Many of those people ended up getting laid off in the second row of layoffs that happened in the same organization. See, you can try your best to do like, oh, I want to protect myself, but it is only going to hurt you more. But I challenge you, like the way when Moses was in the river, he had no control of where he was going. In fact, the currents in the Nile River, especially in the Egyptian region, are sometimes mild, but sometimes they are actually very dangerous as well. They can go to any kind of a situation because of the weather. So Moses was in a place where he can't control any of that. Moses was a baby. You may understand that in a little sense, you're a child of God, you're a baby in the sight of the Lord, and you cannot control the kind of attacks the enemy puts at you. Sometimes your life is just beyond your control. But stop trying to hold on and stop trying to make things in your control, because that's hurting you more. You would have seen this analogy of people who are trying to hold on to ropes that are actually hurting them more. But the best thing they can do is just let go. Let go of the control. Let go and say, Lord, I trust you. You be in control of my life. So, this is my word for some of you. Maybe you're trying to hold on things, and that is actually hurting you more. But I challenge you, just like Moses was not in control of his life when he was cruising through the river Nile, I want you to know that you're not in control of your life, because the enemy will try to attack you in every way possible. So, the best option for you and I is to say, you know what, God? I give the control into your hands. You take control. You lead me to where you want me to go. And that's the beautiful part I want to talk about in the next segment. I hope you stay tuned next for the next episode, and I will catch up with you very soon. I challenge you to leave a comment if you're checking this out on YouTube or Facebook, and share this with someone who needs this word of encouragement. Amen. God bless you.